Hello everybody, it is me Jack here, and welcome back to our legendary West Rome campaign. The struggle continues as we slowly but surely meet our probably fast approaching demise here. As it stands, attrition faces all of the armies as we lose food more and more and more. Our buildings are taking up lots and lots of food somehow, and I feel like the only way to deal with this, is to abandon more, but I don't know whether that's the correct tactic to use. The enemy armies, lots and lots and lots of rebellions imminent, and our forces in the northernmost part of Italy are losing more and more men through attrition. I'm going to move one of these armies down into Rome. It will help deal with some of the public order issues that we have. I want to eventually move them to Tarentum, which is where the real issue with public order is. Next turn there will be a revolt there. If I repair these buildings, that will probably help deal with it a bit. I think we were under siege from rebel armies, which is what led to the damage. So I'm going to hit end turn here. I'm not actually researching anything, so I will change that. We will go for the regional traditions, which will help us with farms and other such buildings. And I will now end the turn. As ever, the enemy armies and more drastically as of late, the rebel armies are the ones that are providing the real challenge for these fights. There's no point fighting this, we will lose. So I'm just going to sacrifice this force again. Hopefully they will take this rather than just raid it, but they do love raiding our lands. Siskia is still just looks like it's just going to stay there because they decided not to raid it. The Vandals approach. We're not at war with them, so I'm happy to let them, do what they want. The Franks also just running around my lands. The Jutes, we are at war with the Jutes, and they're going to come and besiege Rotomagus. Again, nothing I can do here. The enemy just outnumber us massively because of the tiny garrisons you get. So we got raided there. Doesn't matter too much. Again, these northern territories don't matter too much to me. The Sassanids, we're not at war with them, and the East Romans are currently presumably being slowly but surely destroyed at the hands of basically everybody. Me and the East Romans are in this together in the sense that we're not, but we're all being attacked by everyone on the map. So the East Romans turn now. As you can see from all this sort of the names going along at the top, we are at war with basically everyone. The Quadians came and took Virunum. Don't really care too much. I'm happy to let them have that. Again, all these countries are at war with us. Britain is now besieging London, and Gaul are attacking Narbo. I think I will fight this because I would like to hold Narbo, and I think we could easily win this against them using tactics we have used before. So we'll fight this one on the battlefield, and hopefully, fingers crossed, win this one. Although I'm not sure it's going to happen. The enemy are quite a strong force. Looking at the map, should be quite nice and easy to defend this area, I think. Fingers crossed, at least. The enemy Onager, again, will presumably prove the same difficult problem that we always have, in that it won't rout when the rest of the enemy army routs, and we'll have to send out some men to go capture it, or to destroy it even. The garrison fleet, we have a tiny unit of 64. Presumably these are those light Roman Marines. I'm going to beach them immediately and try and get them into the settlement to help defend. And hopefully they'll be strong enough to face off against all these units here. I doubt it, although they have a lot of cavalry. I think my spear unit, my Comita Tenses, should be able to hold off against them in a sort of frontal attack. But the enemy Legio and Spear and General himself will probably carve right through my unit, so I'm not really sure. I think we'll probably lose this one. I know I'm notorious for saying that a lot. Right, we'll set a defensive barrier here with our archers to shoot at the enemy as they come past with heavy shot. This entrance we will guard with our Comita Tense spears in a testudo, and we'll deploy our general. Not our general, sorry, our Legio unit in defensive position sort of here. again in Testudo, which will help strengthen his defense. I'm going to put the cavalry out here. They should be quite useful to defend, and I'm going to land the ship basically right here immediately, which should prove very useful. For some reason it doesn't seem to know where or what landing actually is. It's just deciding to go the complete wrong way. If the ship would like to land here, that'd be great. Not really sure what it thinks it's doing. It's a bit retarded, but oh well. Our archers are going to hopefully get some shots into the enemy. Their onager is firing at our tower. It's basically just going to destroy it. Our tower should, however, hopefully damage the enemy cohorts at least a little bit, but it looks like it's already going to die at the hands of this onager. Yep, it's already down. That is the issue with the onagers. They are very strong as far as, you know, these light settlements go. This cavalry unit I'm going to pull around to here, so hopefully get some rear charge onto the enemy skirmisher units when they're, you know, when they're firing it on our men and the enemy cavalry is distracted. Our light Roman Marines are running into the city here to help defend, with our cohorts in a sort of defensive testudo here, and the Comita Tensei spears here defending that area. Our archers I'll tell to fire on the enemy Limitani here. Hopefully we'll be able to get some shots with the heavy shot. Doesn't really look like it actually. I'm going to take them off fire at will, if that works. Actually, I'm not sure. There we go. As the enemy cavalry come past, I'll try to get a sort of barrage of fire into them. There we go. The heavy shot should do quite well against them. Yes, there's a bit of damage being done. That should soften them up a bit as before they charge into our units. They are going to charge into my testudo because I put the spear infantry on the wrong side. It doesn't look like they'll be actually engaged by anyone. So if push comes to shove, I will move them. Just going to pull this cavalry around to here. This unit will act as a sort of secondary line of defense here. Tell these men to fire at these contrari with precision shot, which should do much more damage at this close range. Fingers crossed at least. They don't have a very good missile block chance, but for some reason, you know, our arrows aren't doing too much. Although they are doing quite a bit of damage now that they're getting them in the rear. Now I'm going to target the enemy general at the close range. Although we did do lots of damage to that enemy cavalry unit in the end. This melee unit will try and sort of just hold this position. Going to move this scout equites around to here as our archers pull the fire onto the enemy Palatina guards at very, very close range, doing a lot of damage to them. They are going to start attacking the barricade, which is something I didn't want. I'm going to pull these light Roman Marines back this way to help defend, and also take this spear unit out of Testudo and move them around to here to help hold this position. Our Sagittariae are firing at the Palatina guards at close range. Just going to check how much health the barricade has, but I can't actually see. It looks like it's about to break, so I'm going to pull the men off the thing and set them up here. Our light Roman Marines will be gallantly defending this area here. It's an ambush, apparently. Going to bring my cavalry around and hit the Ballistariae in the rear. The Sagittariae withdrawing from the fight there. Although our light Roman Marines, all they'll have to do is hold this position here. And our spear unit will act as a sort of secondary line of defense here. Tell this men to charge into the enemy cohorts. They should do quite well. They're sort of medium melee infantry. Should do okay. We'll attack this Ballistariae here, which should do a lot of damage to them because they are a light enemy archer unit. Oh, sorry, crossbow unit. Going to put our men in our spear infantry into defensive testudo and put our archers here up on the wall. We've broken this Ballistariae unit here. I'm going to tell my cavalry to quickly attack this onager whilst they have lots of men left. Onager shouldn't get too much damage onto them, especially if I get them into loose formation. Unfortunately, it is the most accurate onager I've ever seen because we are playing on such a difficult battle level. We are losing decisively. They're not getting very many kills, but they're doing the job I wanted them to do, which was just hold the position. I'm going to get my Sagittariae to fire down on this cavalry unit here. Hopefully they'll at least get some damage. Indeed they will. Our scout equites are now just going to mop up the enemy onager here, and I should get some very successful rear charges into the enemy units here later. The defensive testudo of the Kamita Tensei spears won't hold up for forever, but it will do its job against these units here. I feel like using the Roman Light Marines there was probably a bit of an error, but too late for that now. I'm going to bring this cavalry around back now and attack this Ballistariae in the rear, with our Kamita Tenseis in the defensive testudo being able to hold up quite a long time against this enemy archer fire, or indeed crossbow fire. Our Legio winning decisively against this enemy cavalry, whilst our Sagittariae continue to shoot at the enemy here. We're going to smash into the back of these guys here. We're going to do lots of damage, fingers crossed. In fact, they've already routed before we even attacked them. So we'll just shatter them with this charge, and then pull through and attack this enemy Ballistariae as well, which should basically take these guys out of the fight, which is a very good thing. Our Kamita Tensei spears is holding well, and our Legio is decisively winning against this cavalry unit. I'm going to move my archers here to get a few volleys off against this enemy blob as we continue to destroy the enemy Ballistariae. It's a remarkable difference, having played Rome 2 recently again. The difference that cavalry make in Attila versus versus the earlier Total War games. I'm just going to pull my cavalry back into tight formation so they'll get a better charge. And we're now going to charge the enemy cohorts. And they've gone into defensive testudo, which will give them a much bigger chance to defend. So I realise that, and I'm going to pull them back out. It was a bad idea to attack that unit like that. I'm going to bring the cavalry around here instead. And their cohorts unit has moved out of defensive testudo. I'm going to get my archers to fire on the enemy Palatina guard. Hopefully they'll take a few shots and take a few of them down. Going to move my scout equites around and attack this skirmisher unit here. They've seen what I'm going to do because they're the AI and have pulled away a bit. I'm just letting this fight sort of drag out. The enemy have finally realised how to flank, but our archers are continuing to pour the hurt on this enemy unit here. Remove my cavalry back again because they're about to be ambushed by this cohorts. There's a lot of micromanagement going on here. Hopefully our cohorts will quickly finish them off. I tell my cavalry to charge into the cohorts here. As they weren't braced, we should get quite a few kills at close range. Alternatively not. I'll get my Sagittariae to fire at these scout equites at close range. Hopefully get a bit of damage before they're able to rear charge my spear unit. Doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Although they didn't actually manage to get a charge into our men, and we made them rout very quickly there. Now that the cohorts has finished this fight here, we have killed the enemy general as well. Going to bring my scout equites out of the fight against the cohorts. They were doing disastrously there. Bring them round here as a sort of... Oh, and they've routed. Never mind. Going to put my cohorts into a defensive testudo here, which should help hold this position, whilst moving my archers around this way. Our cavalry have come back into the fight, and I'll bring them round and attack this Levies Amatire here. We should do quite well in this charge now that the enemy are running away and they don't have their cohorts to protect them. So there we go, we're running them down in the rear. Should do quite well. The death of the enemy general makes them, quake in their boots as we are starting to win this fight quite decisively. Our cavalry are absolutely destroying this Levies Armatare here. Enemy cohorts are also shaken. They're not quite sure, which way to turn as we surround and destroy the remaining bits of their armies. I'm going to take these men out of defensive testudo and charge them into the fight here, although they decided to run the wrong way. Once they're in the fight, I'm going to try and pull my spears out of the fight, and unfortunately, due to the weight of numbers, our scout equites have broken. We've broken the enemy general's unit, and I'm going to charge my men into them here. This cohorts unit took a big hit from our spears there. and we should, fingers crossed, shatter that very quickly. We're recapturing this center point here, taking it back under our control, though I'm not sure it actually gives us that much. These two units here should grind out and destroy the enemy cohorts, fingers crossed. And we've captured this point here. Cavalry continue to flee. Maybe they'll come back, fingers crossed. And we can attack this levies amateur again. The cohorts are wavering. I'm going to bring my Sagittarii out and round just as a sort of measure to maybe attack these levies as they run around the corner. We've broken that unit as well, and the levies have shattered. So I'm going to end the battle here. And I think that's a very unfair assessment, saying it's a close victory. I think we fought very gallantly there, and managed to defeat a lot of the enemy units. Indeed, these units only also got 1 kill between the, 2 kills between the two of them, 2 full health units. The enemy general didn't do very well, the enemy scout equites didn't, neither did this cavalry unit. Basically, we defended well. I would say that's a good victory for us, and I will take on the warriors to bolster the numbers, making them withdraw the Gauls. Another Gaul army coming round, and the Hispanic rebels, and more Hispanic rebels in fact. But wait, there's more. Hispanic rebels beat down an enemy army. This army in Syracuse is attempting to destroy us. We're going to go for a balanced stance here, and should beat them down. Or in fact, it was a sort of decisive victory, and I'll take on the warriors. That enemy army is going to retreat. Other fight-wise, I'm sure we have more. Our settlement was sacked by the Ostrogoths. And more enemy military investments. Enemy killed in battle. Military investments everywhere. Attrition all throughout our armies. And famine continues to spread. Rebellion imminent. Rebellions everywhere. Call to arms. Raise a fleet. I'm fine with that, thanks. I'll deal with sort of surviving. If we look at our provinces, barely any have food that is profitable. In fact, most of them import food. Public order is rubbish throughout the entirety of the empire. If we do it by value of the province, Narbonensis is very rich. So is Carthage, that bit in the south of Spain. This battle here should be a difficult one to win, as is this one. I think we're going to lose Spain as it stands to the rebels. Here's a rebel army here gathering forces. However, the Swabians should help me defeat them. I'm going to repair these settlements here, which basically uses up all my money of the turn, unfortunately. Public order is waning again, I think is the term. Or maybe it's waxing, I can never... No, it's waning, definitely. Tarentum, again, trying to defend that against some uprisings, but it's not going to happen. Rebellious armies everywhere, and it looks like we are going to lose this campaign as it stands. I'm going to hit end turn in a second. Repair that. And London is also under siege from enemy armies. I'm going to hit end turn here. Oh, no, these forces have low integrity again. So I'm going to decimate these men. Wow. Unfortunately, we're going to have to keep decimating these legions, and they're going to start running out of men. We will have some battles this time, I think, as the enemy decide to attack us during these turns. The Ostrogoths, as ever. Attacking Siskia again. Don't really care. We will just take the hit and die very rapidly. Maybe they'll capture it this turn, who knows? Or are they still raiding? No, they continue to raid and move their armies towards my borders. In fact, attacking Aquileia. This battle I will fight. It's going to be a very difficult one to win, just because of the damage to these units. But I think we should give it a go. We're going to fight this on the battlefield. And we should win this, actually. Having said that, I think our garrison army should be enough to help defeat this basically crappy army of spears and Gothic axes. Although these axes will chew through our very, very weak cohorts units and, frankly, just terribly weak army in general. And this army is threatening Rome itself. Doesn't look like we're going to do very well this campaign, guys. I think it was a bit of a risky decision to start this as the very first campaign on the channel. It's going to make me look like a crap Total War player, for one, but I can assure you I have had success in things that aren't on Legendary difficult and playing West Rome. We'll just wait for this battle to load up. The enemy army is very strong versus, you know, our weakened soldiers, but I think we should be able to defend it well enough. I should probably have merged the units, but I'll do that next turn as an attempt to, if we win this, of course, as an attempt to decrease the size of the army, but increase the number of units per sort of unit card. So the enemy army are going to come from this way. I'm going to land these ships here again, as before, and we're going to defend this settlement. Our Comita Tensei spears should provide invaluable, the garrison army, of course, as we defend these settlements. They've taken a few casualties just from attrition and such, but our armies are doing far worse. I'm going to put a cohorts here and a cohorts here, both in defensive testudo. My archers going to place here, firing a heavy shot into the enemy, and my scout equites I'm going to put all the way back out here. As for the rest of the army, what have we got? We got lots of levies amatire, and I think I will deploy. Oh, as the game freezes for a second. Fingers crossed it'll unfreeze. It seems that the game is frozen. I don't know whether it looks frozen on your screen. Probably not. This is an interesting development. There we go, it's unfrozen. That was very odd. I'll probably fix that in post, as it were. Get some more heavy fire units down onto these areas. And then this sort of blob of very weak units I'm going to put here. And again, the same with the spears and our general. Just chuck them here. And this cavalry can go in the middle as well. And I think that's all the units I need. And then we'll start the battle and land these ships as quickly as possible. We should do quite well to land these ships. Although, as ever, the AI seems pretty stupid with where they want to land their ships. I don't know. I feel like the AI in this game was probably a bit rushed. Didn't do very well. Could be better. I'm going to move this cohorts unit much closer to here. My skirmisher marines have landed, and I'm going to try and run them in before the enemy cavalry catches us. This ram ship, I don't think I'm actually going to land because I don't feel like the soldiers... Actually, no, I will land it because you get a sort of 20 unit. I'm going to try and get these guys up onto the into the sort of center defense point if I can, as the enemy army approaches rapidly. This ram ship won't do very well, I fear, because these marines will... Western light marines are different to Roman heavy marines, to Roman light marines. That's interesting. They should be quite a strong unit by the looks of it. I take back what I said about them probably being useless. As we pull our men through the defensive testudos, I will reform them, just for that sort of bonus to the actual defense. And also it looks much cooler. This unit is going to be very close to being caught. Fortunately, we've made it back about in time. The enemy cavalry will realise they can't come in that way. Fingers crossed. Unless they attack it. Doesn't look like they will. And we're pouring lots of fire onto these Germanic spear levies here, which should do quite well against these sort of relatively lightly armoured units at close range. We'll target the Gothic warband with our archers and crossbow, and tell these levies to cease fire for now. Tell this men to get into sort of defensive testudo. Unfortunately, my cohorts thought, oh dear, our Sagittarii are taking heavy fire from from the enemy archers, and attack the Germanic nobles close range, and I'll do the same with my crossbowmen, attempting to kill the enemy general here. these levies, I'll throw their javelins into the axe unit. Our spears got slammed by the enemy mounted warband here. And this cohorts unit isn't looking too strong either. They're taking super heavy fire from the enemy skirmisher unit, but it looks like they'll just about deal with the brunt of that attack. Gonna move these men forward. Should have turned these units off fire at will. I realise now. Too late for that. As we suffer more and more casualties. Get these men to fire down on the enemy. Gonna bring these cohorts in as a sort of defensive reserve with our general even further behind. Gonna set these men into defensive testudo, although it doesn't seem like they can for some reason. The enemy have obliterated an entire unit. It does look like we're gonna lose this, guys. I don't think we will win against this huge number of enemies, which isn't what I wanted, unfortunately. I think we could have defended this if I don't know, if I had a stronger garrison. Well, if many things, but there's no point saying, you know, if XYZ had happened. It hasn't. That cohorts unit has broken as well. Our defensive lines are crumbling. Bring this unit in and move my general back slightly. Our men apparently have rallied, but don't really feel like it matters too much at this point. Our units are getting absolutely smashed. I wish our men would fire into the enemy rather than just sort of standing there irrelevantly. Unfortunately, we are going to lose this. I think our men just cannot stand up to this huge amount of Gothic soldiers. Going to bring these cohorts back into the fight. And this spear unit in as well. The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing. That's good to know. Get quick reload on. Just fire into this blob. Indiscriminately target them. See if we can do some damage to them. You know, the more we damage these units, the better. And charge the enemy with this unit as well. And as our... yeah, we have lost this, you know, very decisively. Unfortunately. There's nothing we can do to combat the huge number of enemy men. Our general will do his best, I think, to just sort of fight it out. I do have a scout equites out here which I could have used to destroy these skirmisher units, but oh well. The men are broken. They've broken everywhere basically. And seems like we're going to lose this battle, but oh well. Could be worse. But this could be sort of Ravenna. I mean, this is probably going to be Ravenna in like 2 or 3 turns, but you know, oh well. I like to keep a cheery attitude towards these things. I mean, as cheery as I can as all my settlements get sacked by the enemy units here. You know, you can never really, you can never be too cheerful about death and destruction just carving their way through your units. So I would have thought our men would put up a better fight than this, especially as, you know, the enemy had lots and lots of crappy spear units, but these axe warriors, you know, these Germanic bands and the other sword warriors they had, the sort of Gothic warband, was just so good that it would just cut through us in seconds. Our archers may be able to get one last volley into the enemy at a push. And no, it looks like they're going to shatter as well. If we could just fire one volley, that'd be great, guys. Come on, hit them with one shot. Looks like we might get one volley off before we die. Let's have a look at the last stand of these units. Arrows raining in from everywhere. Enemy as our Palatina guard fleet. Oh no, they're attacking us. I can't even tell. This huge number of men. And there we go. We have lost the battle there. A close defeat, it says. I feel like these sort of end battle screens are slightly inaccurate. Yeah, look at this. 227, 153, 170, 243 kills on these units just because they managed to chop through our men so quickly. That's very unfortunate. I think it was because of the huge amount of damage the enemy skirmishers did. You know, we almost won that, but we did die there. So, Aquileia is lost to the enemy. Maybe they will occupy it, who knows, or maybe they'll just sack it. Probably just sack it, because they're the Ostrogoths, and they'd like to do things like that. So the Vandals are running through our territory. So are the Visigoths. The Franks are as well. It looks like, you know, this is going to be the end of Roman power in the west and in the east, basically everywhere. And I feel like when this campaign ends, and I feel it will do very rapidly, we should, you know, do something a bit more simple to start with. Maybe play as a different faction in Attila, or indeed play in Rome 2, which is also a very fun game. I'm happy to play as either. Now the game was saved there. It seems like our sort of demise is very rapidly approaching as I struggle to speak there. Sorry about that. The Huns, we're not at war with the Huns. I don't think we'll even live long enough to see Attila, which is, you know, not something I wanted to last a bit longer than this. I've realised the magnitude of the challenge before me. Claudians, they're going to attack and just take that city because there's no garrison left. Carthage is under siege continuously with 3 basically huge enemy armies. That's going to fall, unfortunately. All sorts of rebels will attack the end of this turn as well. They've ended their non-aggression pact with me. That's good to know. Britain and Gaul continue to attack me. The West Roman separatists are back. They feel like they could do a better job than I'm doing. Rebel army coming to attack again and again and again. So in Syracuse we will win this fight because for some reason this enemy army, if we just aggressively rush this, we will just kill them. Which is a good thing to do. You can see Carthage off in the distance being heavily sieged. This battle of Aquae Sextiae, we should win this as well. I will auto-resolve this, I think, because we should just win this. Oh, we are being supported by the Swabians. I'll just auto-resolve this and go balanced, and we shall take them down. Fortunately, because of the supporting Swabians, we managed to win that, you know, otherwise very dangerous battle. That was a decisive victory, and we will take on warriors to replenish our men again. Settlement was sacked by the Ostrogoths, we know that. And this settlement, First Legion was killed, enemy killed, enemy military blockade established, attrition, famine. You know, it's not looking great. Rebellions. The Council of Carthage. I really don't think there should be a Council of Carthage right now. I mean, just something tells me there shouldn't be a Council of Carthage. Just something. Can't tell what it is, but just something. I'm gonna upgrade this. I mean, actually no. What do I want? I want a defensive. I'm gonna restart that and do melee defense. That will probably help a bit with this defensive battle that I'm sure is coming. The First Legion was destroyed. I feel like I should move the 10th Legion to Verona in an attempt to again protect against these oncoming hordes. And this unit I'll move to Ravenna on a forced march, which should get them there. I mean, we're going to lose this campaign, guys. It's simple as, I'm afraid, at this point. This legion somehow still getting replenished. It's just working. We will just continue to hold Aquae Sextiae for as long as possible. We could perhaps establish a sort of base of operations here and fight on for this little bit of time. We'll see how it goes. Yes, it's not looking great. Decimation. Food shortage resolved. Unseasonal conditions. Raiding. Good to know. Rank gained. Deaths in battle. Battle reports. Defeat. Victory. Okay. There's not much we can do, as ever, in these turns. I feel like protecting Aquae Sextiae might be the new challenge. And just sort of abandoning Italy. I know I said I wouldn't abandon Italy and sort of defend it up north here, but that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to protect Aquae Sextiae here from the enemy, as we have lost most of Spain. If we look at the map, there isn't much of a solid Roman Empire left. You know, this all is going to fall. Carthage will fall. These areas will fall. We still hold London, but I fear that they will attack us next turn, which is a shame, because public order was just turning around by the looks of it. We're just going to increase our melee defense and this logistician unit there, just because, you know, why not? We can. These armies are all going to fall to the enemy eventually. Unfortunately, Rome and Italy itself look like it will fall. A rebel army here going to take the south of Italy. Carthage will fall. It seems unfortunately we are going to lose this campaign, so I'm going to hit end turn here. These legion, where's that legion? Decimate that in that case. And this legion in... Where's this? This is in London, and I'm going to decimate them before a battle, which is always a great move. We will lose, you know, the next few battles we fight, unfortunately, by the looks of it. London will fall. The Ostrogoths are going to continue to push south into Verona. We can try and fight this and win this. I think this will be the end of this video. In fact, no, I think I'll save this for the next episode because we have had quite a long one already. So yeah, this has been Jack. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Please remember to like, comment, rate, and of course subscribe. And I will see you, you know, as the Senate starts to abandon Verona and not Verona, indeed Verona and Ravenna and Rome and flee to wherever they can find safety. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Bye.